are ready for our first bout of the evening. 10 rounds, super lightweight battle. Brandun Lee, Will Madera, they're going to, listen, they were supposed to fight August 6th on the undercard of the Jake Paul Hasim Rahman Jr. fight that ended up getting canceled. Well, tonight, Lee, Madera, they will finally get it on at a contract weight of 143 pounds. Here's a look at the 31-year-old Will Madera. He's coming off a career-best 5th-round TKO win last October over Uzbekistan's Giampa Damidov. And Damidov was 19-1 at the time. You know, Madera has won back-to-back fights after suffering his only defeat. That was 2 years ago when he was knocked out in the first round by Felix Verdejo. Well, he says Brandun Lee is trying to use him as a stepping stone tonight, but Madera says he loves to upset his opponents. That's his thing. Knockouts. That's definitely the unbeaten Brandun Lee's thing. He had a 15-fight KO streak until going 10 rounds with Zach Ochoa back in April. Now, it was the first time Lee had gone the distance in 4 years, and the first time he'd been past 7 rounds. You know, Lee says he's not overlooking Madera, but he told us he will win tonight. And in doing so, he says he's going to start a new knockout streak. Al B, take us inside the numbers.
Yeah, intriguing numbers here because, of course, we know, as you mentioned, Brandun Lee has maybe a power edge in this fight. Well, he also has a height and reach advantage that's significant in this match. And why does it mean something? Because Will Madera, at times in this fight, is really going to want to box from the outside. Can he overcome that and do it effectively? And let's take a look at the rules. And for this fight and this fight only, there is a 3 knockdown rule in effect because the Florida rules calls for it. And so in this non-title bout, that will be in effect. The rest of the rules mirror the normal unified rules.
Both fighters are in the ring. Let's get the official introduction from my man. He's always suited and booted, the Hall of Fame ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you and welcome to the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in Hollywood, Florida. As Premier Boxing Champions presents a big night of action coming your way, and it's all brought to you by TGB Promotions, Warriors Boxing, and Showtime. And we extend a special welcome to the brave men and women serving around the world and joining us tonight on AFN, the American Forces Network. Well, fans, presenting our judges, scoring our opening attraction from ringside, we have from Florida, Daniel Fitzgerald, from Nevada, Lisa Giampa, and from Florida, Mark Streisand. Presenting our third man to the ring, the referee in charge of this bout, Christopher Young. All right, fans, here we go. Super lightweight special attraction in the ring, scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with blue and red trim, hailing from his hometown of Albany, New York. He weighed in at 142.5 pounds with a record of 17 wins, 1 loss, and 3 draws. He has 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the rugged super lightweight battler, introducing Will Madera. And his opponent across the ring on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing orange trunks with white trim, fighting out of his hometown of La Quinta, California. He weighed in at 142.75 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with a record of 25 wins, no losses, 22 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the rising young star of the super lightweight division, introducing the hard-hitting and undefeated Brandun Lee. And once again, our referee in charge, now to give instructions, Christopher Young.
Okay, gentlemen, you receive instructions in the dressing room. Expect a tough, clean fight with my commands of all time, dictators all time. I'll touch them up.
Christopher Young The third man in the ring. He's got 5 years of experience. This will be his 229th professional bout as a referee.
Blue corner, you ready? Red corner, you ready? Bail. Bucks.
This is scheduled for 10, round 1. Brandun Lee in the orange trunk, the white trim, and Will Madera in the white trunks with the blue and red trim.
You know, Lee feels Madera is probably his most skilled opponent thus far, and that may well be true, and he's especially concerned about the counter-punching of Madera. He wants to avoid getting hit with those.
Raul's got dynamite in that right hand that he always likes to court. Got an 88% knockout percentage is Brandun Lee.
Now, Will Madera knows he's going to have to box a monster like Brandun Lee because he's a knockout artist, but at the same time, Madera has to try to land some good, solid shots to get some respect from Brandun Lee. He just doesn't want him to come in and over-maul him and make it that easy for him.
Lee pumping out the jab. Here's a right hand by Madera.
That was a counter punch over that left hand. And Madera's a very good body puncher. 52% of his landed punches are body. Can he get inside to do that?
Madera had 8 weeks to train for this fight. Says the longest camp he's ever had.
Madera needs to be really tight with his defense. Close. See, all those shots right there didn't land. I mean, they were good body shots for Lee, but he needs to Madera needs to counter off of that. As soon as he feels Lee catching him, he needs to come back and counter like he did a while ago. That's what's going to win him the fight.
Lee misses with the right hand to the body. Minute left here in round 1.
You could tell Lee's just trying to find the distance, trying to get comfortable in there in this first round. I mean, he learned from his last fight against Ochoa, you can't knock everybody out. So, you know, he's just placing his shots, trying to control that distance. But he's got to do something there because he just got hit with some good body shots by Madera.
And there's a combination by Brandun Lee to Madera against the ropes. Another 1-2 by Brandun Lee.
Madera feels he needs to box early in this fight, which he's trying to do here in round 1, and then maybe in round 5 or 6, he thinks he can attack a little bit more. We'll see.
Final 10 seconds here, round 1. A check hook by Lee. And finishes it off with a 3-punch combination.
I feel like I'm reaching.
For Brandun Lee, you know, Madera is coming in off a layoff, so he can be a slow starter, and Lee wants to get things done early. Now, he has to be responsible defensively because of the counter-punching that we talked about with Madera. He has a terrific right hand, but I'll tell you what, he has a good left hook as well. That might be a key tonight for Lee.
Let it go.
As for Madera, he needs to mix it up. Get inside, maybe land a double left hook when he gets in there, but then stay outside for parts of the round. He's a good combination puncher, and he can use that tonight. And, of course, we talked about the countering. He's going to have to do that in this matchup.
You know, Madera's spent most of his career at 135, so he's only really fought here at 140 twice.
Yeah, he's naturally the smaller guy. That's why it's very important in the early rounds that Madera gives Lee different looks. Doesn't stand too long in front of him, because if he does, that's when he's going to be in danger.
Yeah, at one time, Madera was set to fight Teofimo Lopez at the lightweight division. That fight did not come off, but he's been effective down in the lower weight. And that last win, of course, that you referenced earlier against Najmitunov was a very effective win for Madera.
We even talked about, he told us, showed him that he still had it as Lee pounds the body of Madera.
Yeah, I think Lee is really controlling the distance with that jab. Even though he doesn't pop a hard jab, he's still putting it out there. It looks like a slapping jab. He's just trying to find the distance and trying to find the range so he could land his big shots.
Well, Madera caught him with a left hook.
And Lee is so much more active in this fight so far. He's doubled the number of punches thrown by Madera, so that's obviously to his favor, and he wants to do that.
Another three-punch combination by Lee.
Raul really hit on it, you know, even though that jab isn't landing all the time for Lee, it's controlling the fight.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you know, Lee's coming forward, he's making the fight. I would love to see a little bit of head movement when Lee's coming in, because he's just coming too straight in, and that's when Madera counters him. Madera's got some pop, he got some speed in his punches, and he at times Lee gets countered.
Lee generally averages about 32 jabs a round. The average for this weight limit is 23.
And he's over that tonight so far.
There's that right hand, followed up with a left to the body. And there's some blood from the right eye of Madera. And he's pawing away at it.
Yeah, we know that couldn't have come from a clash of heads because they haven't been close to each other, so it had to come from a punch.
Final 30 seconds here of round 2. Lee has had 12 knockdowns in his last 10 fights. And unleashed the leather there again on Madera as he wipes away blood.
Now you can tell Lee's just having fun in there now in the second round. He's really taking control.
And a right hand at the bell.
I got you. Now listen. The box, don't worry about that though. The boxing now, I need you to box and let your hands go still. You let them come to you and you're moving, but you're not giving me the attack back. Okay. All right? Get the respect out of it. When you back him up.
We look back, and here's where, again, using the jab as a rangefinder, he comes with the overhand right, and then we'll follow with a left hand that didn't quite get there, but this one did. And, you know, we talked about the jab being the key for Lee here, and that has really helped him. And Raul, as we look at it again, very nice combination.
Yeah, that's where he's setting up with the jab, and he throws that overhand right, really sits on those shots. And look at those uppercuts. Lee really is finding the range and connected with big power shots. I'm not sure if Madera could take this for 10 rounds, guys.
This is round 3, scheduled for 10. Getting that left hook by Lee. Top of the head of Madera.
You know, Madera coming in off his longest layoff of 10 months. We knew these early rounds were going to be a little bit dangerous to him, and in round 2 we saw real evidence of that.
And he's finishing these combinations with that left hook, Lee is.
Yeah, he's the one that's definitely putting the shots together. I heard they told Madera in the corner, you got to get some respect, but how is he going to get respect if he's just throwing one shot at a time? He's got to use his legs, his speed, and throw more punches. One shot is not going to stop Lee on his tracks.
You know, the problem for Madera is the place where he does really good combination work is from the inside. He can't seem to get there. He's got a great double left hook, but we haven't seen it yet in this fight because he hasn't been in position to throw it.
Take a look at the body shots landed here.
That shouldn't be, because Madera, as I said, 52% of the punches he lands are body shots. He should have landed something to the body at this point, you know.
And Madera's favorite punch is his left hook to the body.
Yeah, exactly.
And he hasn't thrown it at all.
Yeah, hasn't been in a position to do it, really.
First time in the career that Madera's been cut. And that cut is right up under that right eye. And leaking blood again here in the third.
You know, this has been a patient effort by Brandun Lee. He hasn't rushed to do anything that would even put himself in danger of being countered. He's been very, precise in his attack.
And you know what, Al? I think that's very important because once he steps up in level of competition, he can't be rushing with his monsters that really got power, and they're going to be waiting to get counter him coming in.
That's a great point.
Throwing the jabs and that right hand at Madera. Madera's got to throw something.
Lee has thrown.
Good 1-2, and that right hand was right on the button.
Yeah.
Oh my! And he dropped Brandun Lee.
5, 6, 7, 8. Walk to me, champ. Walk to me. You ready to go? All right, protect yourself. All right. Box.
First time in his career, Lee's been down, and here comes Madera. To the body. He's got Lee against the ropes. And the bell.
All righty then.
I had just said that. You got to watch guys.
What is the matter with you, huh? What is the matter with you? Wake up.
Well, an important moment in this fight, and so far in the young career of Lee, a perfect right hand. You can't land it any better than that one.
Not at all. I mean,
a second look at it. The left hand, it's a jab, over a jab comes the right hand, and wow, that was
just got too confident now. They got overconfident. You could never get overconfident in a fight.
Well, we talked about.
I didn't expect that. Just out of nowhere. And I had just said, when you fight bigger guys that are his weight,
yes, so you did.
What's going to happen, you know?
And we talked about the counter punching of Madera. An example.
Brandun Lee down for the first time in his career, and he was hurt at the very end of that round. Madera on the attack here in the fourth.
And the taste about Madera, when he gets in trouble, he goes after with combinations, and that's what he's doing.
He connected with a right hand. He's got Lee against the ropes. Another right hand.
Now, can Madera attack responsibly and not get hit with something on the way in by Lee?
Watch your head. Let go.
I think Madera's doing the right thing. He needs to keep that momentum going. I think Lee's still hurt. He's shaky for sure.
And there's a left hook by Lee.
Yeah, it's a misnomer for Madera to think he can't be hurt still by Lee, but he's got to attack responsibly, which he's trying to do. And Lee trying to counterpunch effectively.
But you could see the confidence that knockdown gave Madera.
That left took a moment ago by Lee, though. It could be a little bit of a round changer.
As he uncorks the right hand, you see Madera still wiping away the blood out of his eye. Leaping left hook by Madera. 90 seconds left here in round 4. Uppercut, Madera. And Lee back with an uppercut of his own.
The first part of this round dramatically in Madera's favor. Lee has kind of come back a little bit. The question is he susceptible to being hurt again?
But you can tell Madera's he's looking for that overhand right again.
So Brandun Lee has answered some questions here in his career. Could he go 10 rounds? He's answered that. How about, can you face adversity and answer adversity? We're going to find that out tonight.
That's for sure.
And we're not even halfway to the right.
Exactly. That right hand missed. And a 1-2 by Lee as he counters.
He's trying to show us he can box effectively here and show Madera more than us. You know, he's trying to box effectively and land some punches and stay out of harm's way and get himself back in the fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think he needs a couple of rounds like that.
Slow the breathing down. Good work.
Good, bro. You just got this.
Yo, you're doing great, bro.
Good. Get the water. What's the word?
All right, hold on 1 second.
Pour me. You get my water.
Yeah.
60-40, right? Get it right. You're falling in, you're too tall, falling in. So sit down with the right leg, okay? Wait, with the jab, with the jab, with the jab. Unless, are you crooked right now? Little bit? Little bit, okay. So move, box him this round. On the next one, you be set.
What's this?
This is, I don't know. What round is this? Fourth. Too early. Your condition is good?
Yep.
Okay. This is your career.
Everything okay.
This is your career. And come back home, okay? Be smart. All right.
Bobby Lee is the trainer and the father of Brandun Lee.
A lot of drama there. A point to be made. Madera only has a 48% knockout percentage of his wins. Oh, they're looking at Madera's eye.
That's Dr. Tim Carlson.
Is okay? Yep. Okay.
Madera only has 48% of his wins by knockout. And in fact, the past 10 opponents of Lee have only averaged 36% of their wins by knockout. So he's not been facing big punchers. And even Madera's not known as a big puncher, but landed the perfect right hand.
You can see Madera using a little more head movement, trying to jab his way on the inside, try to get inside of Brandun Lee, who pops him with the jab and then right hand.
I'll tell you what, Madera has taken some of Lee's bigger shots. I feel as the rounds go, I don't think those shots on Lee gonna have that same steam. So that's when Madera needs to take advantage and get in the inside and try to push Lee back. Use his experience. He is the veteran here. Talking about Madera.
We talked about, for us, this is the part of the fight where he said, I need to box him and then make it ugly in the later rounds of this fight.
Lee has been past 4 rounds only twice in his career. Of course, the Ochoa fight, and then when he beat Heraldez, knocking him out in round 7. So this is not territory he goes into a lot.
And even in that Heraldez fight, he showed that he can carry his power to the later rounds.
He did.
Madera missing wildly with that right.
You know, Madera only throwing 22 punches in this round. You could make the case he's letting Lee off the hook a little bit by not being aggressive enough.
Maybe he's letting Lee get a little bit confident again. He's being sneaky like he was when he landed a big overhand right. Just out of nowhere, it really surprised me.
Yeah, that could well be.
I really think he's trying to set up that punch again.
Yeah, he might be. And of course, we know he's a good counter puncher.
Here's that left to the body, that left hook to the body. There's a big right hand there by Lee.
You know, that punch right there speaks to the point Raul made. Lee's landing some pretty big power punches, and Madera's hanging in there on those shots.
Yeah, Madera's really shown a very solid chin.
Now, mind you, I think Lee's had a couple of pretty good comeback rounds in that knockout down. So
yeah, I think he's back. Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. I think he's back in the fight.
Well, the first couple of rounds, it was Lee with the power shots. He had an advantage of 26-9. These past couple of rounds has been Madera who's connected with more, 42-19.
Well, there was this really nice right hand. He started off with a right hook and got around the guard of Madera with that right hand. Lee landed, and for a moment it looked like it stopped Madera in his tracks, but didn't hurt him badly. But very nice power punch by Brandun Lee.
All right, you pushing him back, but you got to be effective. Where the fuck is that roll hook at? I need it. Where the step in lead hook at? Okay. Let's go. You got to go get him. You look good, baby. Every round, put it in the bag. Let's keep going. We know what we came for. He ain't.
How long you got left? Round 6. Round 6. You sure? Yep. Okay.
I think he's saving it.
Yeah? He's saving it? Oh. Okay. You know he's doing that. You got that, and he's gonna hit you hard. I don't know.
You kind of get a sense that Brandun Lee used these past couple of rounds to kind of get the cobwebs out.
Yeah, it seems like that was what his dad was telling him in the corner. Keep boxing, keep try to get your legs back underneath you. I think he's getting there now.
And he might well have won those rounds in the process.
I think he did.
Yeah, so that if you can do that and win the rounds, then you've done well. Now they talked to Madera about that left hook.
Uppercut.
Yeah, Madera's left hook is a key weapon for him. We haven't seen much of it in this fight.
We're in the second half of the fight. Let's bring in an unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood. How you got it, Steve?
Gus, round 3 was a shocker. All I could say is wow for that. Other than that round, I think Lee has done a very nice job boxing. The bigger puncher for sure, the bigger man. And I've given him every round, including the rounds after he got dropped. So I have Brandun Lee ahead, 48-46 at the halfway mark.
Lee popping the jab here in the 6th.
And when they asked Madera for the left hook, the problem with that is the way he's fighting now on the outside, that punch is not available to him. So he's going to have to jab his way in and then be in position to throw that double left hook.
Yeah, he's got to get in close. He's got to get in the right range to be able to land that shot. But Lee's jab is not letting him come in.
Yeah.
Lee's been pretty accurate with that jab, like we said at the beginning. Even though it's not a hard, solid jab, but he's still putting it out there, and he keeps him at bay.
He's thrown 22 in this round alone, Lee, of his jabs.
That right hand skimming the head there of Madera as we hit the final minute of round 6. Double jab by Madera, and in the right hand.
That just missed.
There have been fights in his career where Madera has done less volume than they wanted him to do and that favored him. And we're seeing that to some degree in this fight.
Left hook to the body by Madera.
Finally.
Uppercut. And a right hand by Brandun Lee. And a leaping left hook by Lee at the bell.
By the way, the last time we were here,
I was going to say that.
14 years ago,
yes,
had a big win, didn't he, Brian?
Yes, he did in this same venue. 14 years ago, last time Showtime Championship Boxing, the co-main was Raul Marquez.
It's crazy how the years pass by, guys. 14 years.
Giovanni Lorenzo, right?
Giovanni Lorenzo.
He was unbeaten.
Unbeaten. It was a mandatory to fight for the middleweight title against Abraham when he beat Miranda in the rematch, yes.
Well, you did a heck of a job here on that night when we saw you 14 years ago, that's for sure.
This is the 7th round. Brandun Lee, unbeaten, taking on Will Madera.
Lee has thrown 242 jabs in this match. You know, that's a lot.
I was going to say, even though he got dropped, you know, and he dealt with that adversity already, but he still hasn't stopped throwing that jab, and I think that's been one of the major keys to keeping Madera out at bay and him being able to set up his combinations.
Double jab right hand, in the right hand by Madera.
That was the best punch Madera's landed since the knockdown.
Right. Misses with that left hook. Here's the left to the body by Madera.
If Will Madera is going to win this fight, at some point he's going to have to get inside, plant his feet, and double the left hook with conviction. Unless he's fortunate.
Oh, another left hook to the jaw of Brandun Lee. And a firefight is broken out here.
You said it right, Outlet. I was thinking in the last round, because we were halfway through the fight, that's where he should have started making those changes. It's Madera's time right now if he's going to make something happen.
He's got 1 minute here in the 7th round. There's another hard jab by Brandun Lee. Pops the head back of Madera.
Lee took that left hook pretty darn well.
And that uppercut as well.
Yeah, right.
Just missed with that overhand right. He unclipped that right hand, didn't he?
I felt the wind over here.
30 seconds left here in the 7th. You see Madera's trying to catch him with that left hook. Lee trying to keep him at range with the jab.
10 seconds, listen for the bell. 10 seconds.
Well, for the most part, a very solid round for Brandun Lee. He got hit. He counters very effectively there with a nice combination to Madera. And then later on in the round, Lee again using the jab very effectively. During that round, Lee did get hit with one really good left hook and an uppercut, but for the most part, this action is reflective of how that round went.
Like you're tired or something. You have to explode. You have to explode.
Pardon?
You got me? No. This is your career. When you're top of the head, you got to get to the front. Huh? Yeah.
This is round 8. If you remember, in Brandun Lee's last fight in April against Zach Ochoa, he went 10 rounds for the first time in his career. It was also the first time he went past 7 rounds. And he's done it again here tonight. He's letting the hands go a little bit here as we begin round 8.
And you have to say that Brandun Lee was hit with as good a right hand as Madera can throw. Now, I mentioned 48% of his wins come by knockout. He's not a monstrous puncher, but that was a perfect right hand.
It was.
And you've got to give Lee a lot of credit for getting up and pulling himself together. Great combination punching by Lee and a very good assortment of punches.
He's popping Madera with that check left hook.
Yeah, we're seeing that Lee also has boxing skills. He's not just only a pressure fighter that has some pop, but you know, he knows how to box very well. He's giving him different looks, punching from different angles, and he's busy with his combinations. Everything off the jab.
Here's a left hook by Lee and a left hook by Madera.
And you know, I know I said this earlier. I want to see Lee a little bit of head movement from Lee. He's just too stationary.
And sometimes keeps his head straight up.
Yeah, he keeps his chin up in the air and he gets whacked that way.
With that right hand. Minute here in round 8.
All he needs is that little subtle movement, just a little bob and weave, not forcing himself. That just, you know, gives Madera a harder target to hit.
A little different body language from Madera, though, right here. He's coming in, feinting a little, bobbing and weaving, looking for a power shot. He's at least trying to get something big in. But unfortunately for him, Lee is counterpunching beautifully.
Yes, he did. An uppercut there by Brandun Lee. Then pops the jab.
See, Lee keeps dropping his... He's effective with his jab, but he drops his jab hand a lot, and then it gets countered by that overhand right. That Madera keeps looking for that. He's got to get in closer, measure that distance, and just time it right. There it goes.
A good left hand by Lee.
Well, we mentioned the variety of punches. Here's the uppercut, really thrown from farther out than you would normally do it, but he was very effective with it and landed that punch. And later in the round, Madera did have a good moment. Here's that left hook that landed very nicely, and that was a beauty. And Madera has a good left hook, but he wasn't able to follow up on it as much as he would like. And again, an example of what we talked about, Lee kind of leaving himself open.
Step over and then throw check right. You haven't run it, check right, Brandon. You hit the top of the head, and you stay right there, and you're doing slow motion, Brandon. Everything's slow with you. You got me? Yeah. You can't be doing that. 2 rounds, okay? Come on, man.
Seconds out.
Let's go, guys.
This is round 9. Scheduled for 10. Here's the right hand by Madera.
Now, we should point out that Madera has only been 10 round one time, and that was a draw. And, of course, we pointed out that Lee is 1-0 over 10 rounds.
He continues to pop Madera with his jab, and a stiff one at that.
Tell you what, Madera really trying to work himself inside. He's only got 2 rounds. That he ain't got no choice but to get inside and try to knock Lee out, because he's not winning this fight, but Lee is just not allowing him to come in with that hard, steady jab and just putting that jab out there, the overhand rights, those combinations, and Lee keeps circling around him, doesn't stand in front of Madera. Just that little subtle movement to the right, to the left.
It's making it so Madera, even when he tries to throw that hook, can't really get it there.
He can't position himself.
And Madera has underused his jab a lot in this fight because that would have allowed him to maybe pave his way inside a little better.
More than 1,000 punches has been thrown in this fight.
Pretty busy pace, 1,000 punches. Doesn't happen all the time.
Omar Figueroa, who we're going to see later, threw 1,000 punches himself in one fight years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
Not lately, but a while ago. Yeah, which is amazing. Sorry, Brian, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, there's going to be some punches thrown in that main event without question.
Look at Madera's face. The effects of the solid punching power from Lee has really taken a toll on Madera's face.
And that right eye, he's been blinking and it's bothering Madera.
Yeah, but they've done a pretty good job of not letting it bleed a lot more.
Yes.
It was a first here tonight. First from Madera being cut. First time Brandun Lee had hit the canvas.
The clock is not Madera's friend at this point.
Round, baby. What's it, 9 or 10? Okay. Last round, baby. Turn around, let me get up and do it. Last round, baby. You know, be a little more aggressive going for it. You do me a favor? Just one snatch. You know how you sell yourself right now? You turn it up and show them what we really made of. You got 1 round left to show us what you're making of, working with. So we know.
I told you, man. That's why it's very important to double impact. Double impact and double impact. You got me? Spit. Spit. Are you still crooked? Huh? 10%. 10%. I told you. That last. I'm afraid that when you throw a jab, he's going to time you.
Pick him up last round. Pick him up, okay? Fight hard, fight clean.
I thought it was interesting. You heard the father of Brandun Lee asking, "Are you still crooked?"
Crooked. I'm thinking if he's still dazed or still off, and he's at 10%.
Yeah.
It's got to mean. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, apparently. You know, a reminder that knockdown in round number 3 came late in the round. There was only about 16 seconds after that. It could have been a different scenario had that knockdown come earlier in the round, but it wasn't, and Lee was able to clear himself.
You hear the trainer of Will Madera, Jarrett Jones, telling him, you got to take chances in this round. You got to go for it.
That's it. That's it. He got no other choice. Last round, go for broke. Get in close. A lot of head movement. And bang away.
Will Madera, father of 6 kids. You know, he was working nights, training himself during the day. And then 3 years ago, took on boxing full time.
He worked at a center in Albany, helping people, and then, as you say, he said, "I've got to commit to boxing full time." He came from a family of 10 when he was a youngster, so he knows about big families.
Yes, he does. Brandun Lee and his father, Bobby, still train in their garage there in California. It's amazing how some of these fathers took to the sport through YouTube and then ends up training their sons like that.
It's a different world now.
Madera trying to get on the inside of Lee. We got 1 minute left in this fight.
Now there's a solid jab from Madera. He's going to rue the fact that he didn't do that more often.
Lee's just playing it smart in this round, using his jab, long range, keep him on the outside, don't let him come in. Tighten up his defense. He's got the fight won.
Yeah, it would be astonishing if he didn't win the decision. So he rightfully assumes that he's ahead in this fight. And was able to get past the adversity.
Yes, he was. So Brandun Lee has gone the distance once again and has gotten off the canvas and takes another big shot. Tell me what you thought, Raul. You've seen a lot of Brandun Lee.
Hey, listen, definitely this was a learning experience for Brandun Lee. Even though, he won the fight, but these are the kind of fights that are going to get you ready for the next level of opponents. You got to remember, guys, Madera is more of a 135-pounder. He's naturally a smaller guy. He's going to learn from this. The adversity that he dealt with getting knocked out in the fourth round. He's going to dream about this. It's going to haunt him. How is he going to take that in the future? You know, he got whacked pretty hard. He got hit pretty good, but he went to 10 rounds, another 10 rounds fight in his resume, and he keeps moving on.
We are going to go inside the ropes to take a peek at this fight in microcosm. And boy, the moment it changed, it appeared, was in round number 3 when that right hand landed. And I mean, that's a heck of a right hand. But Lee, coming back from it, would mount his own offense. And right away in the 4th round when he came back, he was the one that was combination punching. And you can see the variety of his punches. The jab, of course, was significant. He threw 431 jabs in this fight and then continued the assault as this fight wore on and appeared to win virtually every round as Madera, even to the end there, was taking some shots.
Brandun Lee unbeaten. As you take a look at our show stats, and you talked about this, 673 punches is what Brandun Lee threw.
A lot of volume, and the fact that he landed more body punches, even though there weren't a lot of them, that 8 by Madera represents the idea that he didn't do as well in this fight as he wanted to. Had him one moment, and it almost was enough if he could have kept him down.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, the judges are in agreement. We have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges score them out the same, 98-91. All 3 in favor of the winner. And still undefeated, Brandun Lee.
So Brandun Lee remains unbeaten, now 26-0, and he's with our other Hall of Famer, Jim Gray.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Brandon, congratulations on winning the fight. Got a little hairy there in the 3rd round when you went down. Let's talk about that first. What happened there?
I think I just went in there a little too careless. After the 1st round, I told myself, this guy has nothing to give me, but boy, was I wrong.
Did that affect you the rest of the fight?
Not for the rest of the fight. I'll say about a round for me to recover. I had to, of course, change up the game plan a little bit, but I went from going forward to boxing.
Your dad told you to be patient and get your legs back. Were you able to receive that message at the time, or were you just fighting for survival?
I feel like, in the gym, we practice for everything, just in case. So I feel like I'm already trained just in case, and that's what I did.
Your dad said to you after the fight, you don't have grown man strength. You're just 23 years of age. Is that something you're aware of, or is it something you have to now be cognizant of?
I'm 23 years old, so I got to get it eventually, hopefully this year or next.
You want to take it slow. What do you learn from a fight like this, and what did you learn from Ochoa in the last fight, having gone now 10 rounds, 2 fights in a row?
I feel like, to me, going the rounds is kind of good for me, because we all know that I'm a knockout artist, and my past 20-something fights have all ended within the 3 rounds. So I'm finally getting in the rounds, finally getting the conditioning, and getting the good work I need to become a good professional.
And what would you like to do now next? Would you like to just have some better competition as you move on, because you can't count on that knockout as the opponents get better?
Absolutely. It's part of the game. I got hit with a clean shot. Not once did I ever fall. Not once did I ever attempted to quit. I'm a fighter, so I'm going to fight to death. Like I said before, I say it again, death before dishonor.
Brandon, thanks a lot. Congratulations on winning.
Thank you, Jim.
All right.